Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another pick a card reading here at scatterlovetarot with your girl. And today I am coming at you with a pick a card reading in regards to what do men secretly admire about you. This was a channeled message, so we will find out what it is that is meant to come through for you today. I do just want to take a moment and say thank you so very much to everyone that has joined the tribe, who has decided to become a part of this journey with me, with this channel, and with the others who have been here and continue to grow. If you're new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we are all humans here on this journey, trying to figure it out together, and we are stronger as a unit. And so know that you are accepted in this here now here moment. With that being said, if you are interested in taking me with you on the go and learning more about my own journey and the things that I have experienced and the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that I found work and don't work, check out the description box down below, where you will find a link to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is on Spotify as well as Anchor FM, and you can take that with you to listen to at your leisure. I will be uploading 3 episodes per week. With that being said, let us go ahead and get into your prayer. And always keep in mind that these are general readings, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it allows me an opportunity to connect with you directly to get you out more resonant readings. So, let's see. I feel like clear mind is needed today. Beautiful. My beloved source, this prayer is for clear minds, clear understanding, clear knowing, seeing the truth. Whatever the situation is, we're all going through something different, yet equally difficult or equally easy. So I ask that you give us clear mind, and to remember that, help us remember that we need our resolve, and to not rest on our laurels even when we think things are being simplified and brought to resolution, to always keep our wits about us. I ask that you bring discernment in the ways of truly seeking what is within and understanding the truth of being in love and connecting with this deep love of self and this deep love that you have provided us and are continuing to provide us each and every day. I ask for abundance in knowledge, abundance in wisdom, abundance in intuition and love for all who are on this video, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. I ask that you grant them access to the gates of heaven. Not heaven as what we've grown to know it, but heaven within, so that we may experience heaven in this 3D realm, so that we may experience what it is to live, not just to survive, but to truly live, and to know what it is to show up each day as a living being, filled with light, love, understanding, compassion, and truth. May you grant access to their gifts, to their Akashic records. May you grant access to their journeys and their purpose. And as these words are spoken unto this space, so shall they be. Amen. Aho Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Alright, so let's get that over there. We got some ash on the table. Let's get that off. Put that over there. And my little urn that I got. I guess it's an urn. I don't know what it's called. It's a little cast iron thing that you can burn things in. So, excellent. Today, I am bringing out my spiral oracles, these ones. Again, I don't use them very often. I absolutely love these cards though. I think, like when you fall in love with a card, sometimes you just want to keep it to yourself. sometimes how I feel about my cards. Like, I'm like, I don't want to share these. These are so amazing. But then after a little while, I can't help but share them because I love them so much, you know? So it's kind of a catch-22, I guess, if you will. At one point I don't want to, and then I do because they're just too gorgeous. The artwork on these cards is absolutely incredible. Now, once we get to them, I just have to let you know that there are some kind of inappropriate cards in here, but we'll definitely see. I don't know if they'll come out or not. I'm just saying there's like 2 really, really inappropriate cards in here. So if they come out, I have to cover them up. Just letting you know. But let's ask. So, source, for pile number 1, what oracle card will help us understand what men secretly admire about them? Thank you. Source, for pile number 2, what oracle card will help us understand, well, what men secretly admire about them? That came flying out. Thank you. And source, for pile number 3, what oracle card will help us understand what men secretly admire about them? Thank you. I always love when I get channeled reading messages like, oh, do this reading, Becky. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then how fast the draw always is, you know, certainty on the bottom. So men definitely admire collective certainty. So whether you're divine masculine, divine feminine, it doesn't matter. Just that you're very certain with the direction that you're heading towards in the future. There's like some sense of clarity that's coming through with this. Look at that buffalo right there. I love that. All right, so for pile 1, we do have this crystal quartz for you to choose from. On pile 2, we do have this amethyst shard from you to choose from. And for pile number 3, we do have this beautiful lapis lazuli for you to choose from. Okay. So we pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever one you are drawn to, that should be the pile for you, keeping in mind they are general readings. But with that being said, I will see you over on your chosen pile. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this crystal quartz, or if you were drawn to this card during the drawing, in the beginning, the shuffle, then this is going to be your pile on what do men secretly admire about you. We're going to put that there. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. I actually want to put this up here. We'll check this out at the end. I just want to put it right there, kind of out of the way. I know you can't see the whole thing, so just because, yeah, we'll just make it easier for ourselves. Awesome. And keep in mind that these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not, knowing that that was just for another person. And knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with you directly and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you guys are interested in taking me on the go, check out in the description box the link you will find to my podcast, Scatter Love Radio, which is on Spotify and Anchor FM. And I will be posting 3 episodes a week that you can take with you at your leisure to learn about my own experiences, some tips and tricks along the way, and just my own things that I've gone through and how I've healed myself on them. So with that being said, let us go ahead and get into reading and ask the dice. Source, what do men secretly admire about pile number 1? What can you tell us about what men secretly admire about pile number 1? What information can you give to us, Source? What do men secretly admire about pile number 1? Okay. So we've got 10th house Pisces and Venusian energy out. Venus making a comeback. So right away, they really admire your work ethic and how mysterious you are about what it is that you do. Like not necessarily your work, but what it is that makes you tick, right? Like what it is that makes you show up day in and day out and do what it is that you're doing. So they really admire that. They really admire that you are in your masculine energy, but also balanced with that feminine energy. There's this sense of being balanced on the journey, not always working, but not always being, in a state of leisure, but knowing when to access those types of energies. So it's like when you need to work, you work. But when you need to rest and play and have fun and relax, you're willing to do that. Men are really admiring the fact that you are very dreamy. They admire that. Like you attract a lot of attention. And so it's like whether they're attracted to you as well, that could very well be. We're not looking into that. What they admire is that no matter how much attention you attract, you still always focus on yourself. Right? Like you're not jumping into relationships with just anybody, or you're not inviting just anybody in. You are making sure that people are worthy of your time. And especially with this work element with the 10th house here, right? It's like if someone is going to distract me from what it is that I'm doing, then they're not coming into my energy. Like point blank simple, like that's it, right? And they really like that. They really admire how determined you are, how structured you are. You also have a very good public reputation, and you may have overcome some really difficulties. Anytime we have Piscean energy, it can point to some real difficulties in life, like grief, loss, addiction, and overcoming guilt, those things, also experiencing those things, right? And so there may be this element of men noticing that you have experienced a lot of hardships, and they admire that no matter what, you're still this very nurturing person and grounded and very, like I hear cool, calm, and collected is what's coming through here. And so they really admire that no matter what, like you never lost your truth and you never lost who you are. You're also coming across as an expert at whatever you do. So whatever it is that you have going on in your life, you are seen as an expert. Men admire that because you can own who you are. You are not afraid to stand up and be like, this is what I do, and I know what I'm talking about, but you're also willing to draw back and to learn more about it as well. You're very compassionate, sensitive. Sometimes you are seen as an escapist, but that is a trait that they admire because I was saying, like you're able to draw back from that constant work. Like sometimes you may be caught daydreaming and I laugh because I know what that is. Like when you're just not paying attention, you're just lost in your own thoughts, and it's nothing bad. It's just you're just like wondering about things like, what if this were happening? Or what if life were like that? And suddenly it's like someone will come up and they'll be like, hey, pile one. And you're like, whoa, hold on. I'm sorry. I totally wasn't paying any attention. What's going on? And they admire that you can get so lost in your thoughts. And there's this element coming through of like, what is it that pile one is truly thinking about? Like, what's going on in their mind? Like, what's happening? I want to know more about that, right? And you're seen as someone who can be very psychic as well. You may have said something or predicted something, and men admire that you never shied away from it. Like, it's like, I feel like this, and this is going to happen. And people could have said, oh, you're crazy. Like, that's not going to happen. You don't know what you're talking about. Or they just ignored it or whatever. And it's like, men admire that you never stopped questioning your abilities, your intuitive abilities, your psychic abilities. And so that's something that they very much are admiring about you. Mainly they admire that you are very attractive. You may have some very strong, stable relationships. You're very sociable. You bring a lot of harmony and pleasure everywhere you go. You have a lot of charm about you, and they admire that because like they know that whenever they hang out with you, they're going to get charmed by you in a good way, right? Like you're going to make them laugh, you're going to make them smile, you're going to make them feel good just by them interacting with you for even if a moment just comes by. You do have this sense of femininity about you, some grace, very sensual, and you're comfortable. It's like I feel like men admire the fact that no matter what goes on, they can always tell you what's going on in their life. Even if they don't, they just feel like they can tell you what's going on in their life because they feel very comfortable with you. Now I'm going to put these over here. We're trying something new today. So let us see. I think you can see those. Let me move this. Yeah, they're in frame. Okay. Move this. I'm a little bit off kilter. Hold on one second. I'm going to pause this and fix the camera angle. Here we go. Okay, yeah, that was really bothering me. I couldn't figure that out, but... Okay, so let's get some tarot out on it, pile one, and find out what do men secretly admire about you. What do men secretly admire about pile number one, source? What can you tell us? What information can you give to us? That like you, very decisive. There's this energy of being decisive coming through as well. Like not being afraid to make a decision, even if it's scary to make that decision. And being able to emotionally handle it. Like you're always showing up in a very emotionally mature energy, right? Like I said, it's like even though you've been through a lot of hardships, you're seen as someone who is capable of handling themselves, and you don't go, you know, bonkers just because of the stuff that you've experienced. So source, what do men secretly admire about pile number one? Thank you. Okay, what do men secretly admire about pile number one, source? Thank you. What do men secretly admire about pile number one, source? Whoa, okay. Yeah, you're very clear-minded. Yeah, we have the Four of Cups on the bottom here, or the Four of Hearts. This to me is giving me that, what I was saying, like you may get a lot of offers, but you don't just let anybody come in. Like it takes a special person to actually access your energy, right? And not just access your energy, but actually have access to you outside of the normal everyday connection, whatever that is, right? And they really admire that because it's like you're seen as somebody that's very respected, that has very high value, that has a lot to offer. You're also seen as someone that completes what you start out to do. So like when you start something, like you will get to the end of it, or you will finish it no matter what. And that's something that they admire because you don't easily rest on, you know, your resolve. Like you are very much in this place of let me move towards what I want to move towards. So let's see what came out here for you. Yeah, again, that feeling of having gone through something very difficult, right? And the Ten of Wands in my deck really talks about, you know, being able to make it through with a friend after having experienced some really, really rough paths in life, and yet you become closer. And that's really what my Ten of Wands talks about. But when we look at the imagery on this just looks like a heavy load, right? Like having carried a heavy load, and especially like over the heart. Like this is something in the matter of heart. Like that's why it's so much, there's so much admiration about the fact that you're very well, like you're very well kept with your emotions. Like you're not just going to show up and blow up at people just because. Like you're very much in this place of like, if somebody hurts me, then I'm going to go and take care of it by myself. Like I will confront that person, but I'm not going to cause a scene. If something doesn't go my way, I'm not just going to throw a fit. Like you're not somebody who just blows up just because. Like you, if you ever get to that point, like it's basically this energy of my peace comes before everything. My own inner peace comes before everything. And they admire that. And it's only because you've been through so many hardships. It's only because you've been through so much in your life. Even if they weren't hardships, just experiences, right? You've experienced a lot. And you may have one person that you rely on for, being there for you. And they admire that you keep your circle small. Like, you're not just looking to fill some gaps. Like, you really do have this sense about you where in order to access your energy, it has to be something worthwhile. That's it. It just has to be something worthwhile. And they admire that about you. They admire that you're very passionate about what you start. And it has to always be authentic for you. Right? And in this sense of, look at how this Jack is holding his cards to his chest. Again, that energy of not showing your cards, like not letting people know what it is that's going on with you. Whether that's in the work or whether that's at home or whether that's in personal, whatever it is, like you don't just like blast your dirty laundry out. And men admire that about you. It's a very attractive trait about you. And again, it doesn't matter if you're masculine or feminine. What it is saying that that's something they greatly admire, because maybe it's something that they're trying to work on themselves. And so there's this element of inspiration that you're giving to them, this air of understanding that, we all have to start somewhere. And so you do inspire them, and that's something they admire, because like just by being you inspire them to become a better version of themselves. And it takes someone really special in order to actually do that, which says that you're a leader. And even though you have this energy here, which is likened to page energy, right? We have the Jack of clubs and the Jack of spades. It's like likened to page energy. You're still seen as a leader. Like people or men really admire the fact that you give off leadership qualities while still being able to have this element of fun and this time of just understanding yourself, I think, is the most important thing that's coming through here. Let's see. I keep looking at this Jack of Spades here because it's like, it feels like these are men who secretly spy on you. Like they don't want to face the reality that you're out of reach. That's what it is. But they admire they admire that. They admire that you're out of their reach. Like you're too good for them, or you are out of their league. Let's get some clarifiers on it. What do men secretly admire about pile number one, source? What do men secretly admire about pile number one? Yeah, you're very much in this place of taking care of yourself. Like you really focus on yourself. You have a lot of options, but it always comes back to, how do I feel? And if something doesn't feel good for you, like you're not really gonna get too involved in it, right? And so they admire that you focus on yourself first and that you don't just jump the gun with anything. In fact, you may be very slow to make a decision in any aspect of life because it's all about how you feel. What is this internal feeling that I'm getting? So, when we talk about Wands cards, it's that fiery element. And here we have Aryan energy in the first deacon. And so that's definitely this beginning energy. And when we think about the first deacon of Aries, it is connected to a newborn, right? And it's like that fresh energy. We're starting, and there's nothing that's going to hold us back except for ourselves, right? That's what this is saying. And so you have come into this place of understanding that even though there are multiple options, there are multiple roads to go, it's like you determine and decide what it is that you want, and then you make steps towards that, right? And they admire that. And it doesn't matter if there's obstacles in the way, you still keep going towards it. Like I'm saying, like you finish what you started. What do men secretly admire about pile number one, source? Yeah, you work hard. You also work to build something that's not what society deems it should be, right? You're very nonconformist. Like this is someone who, when we have the 7 of coins coming out, this is someone who builds a reputation and a business based on some unorthodox venture, right? Like being original and allowing your originality to stand out and not being afraid of that. And that's what men admire. So maybe you've built a business, or maybe in your company, like you have built a position, right? Or you're trying to do something on the side and you use your network at work to help you build some sort of clientele for that. But whatever it is, you're like weaving something in your life. You know, when we think about spiders, they create their own web, their house. And if their house gets destroyed, they just build it again. Like it doesn't matter. No matter how many obstacles come, they have one singular goal in mind, and that's to build this home that I live on, because that's how I eat, that's where I sleep, that's my safety, that's like everything about it. And it's so beautiful and miraculous and delicate and soft at the same time, right? And scary. Like there's this element of being intimidated by you, and men admire you because of that. Like maybe you don't know you're intimidating, and so that's why they admire you, because you're like completely unaware that you're an intimidating person. And you just go about and you be who you are, and you just share so many aspects of yourself. Look, and we have the King of Wands coming out. Yeah, again, this fiery energy. This fiery energy. You like to have fun. You like to play. Right? We said that up here with the Venusian energy. You know when it's time to have a good time, but you're also very attractive, and they admire that about you, because it's like whether it's the ugly duckling syndrome, or you just don't pay attention to your looks. Like your looks are your looks. Like you're not all wrapped up in them being like Narcissus or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh yeah, I know I look good, but that doesn't make me who I am. Like you feel deep down inside that you're so much more than your looks, because you are. And that's what men admire. Like you don't let your looks hold you back. Like you still are a down-to-earth, normal type person who shows up and can have normal conversations. You're not expecting a special treatment because of the way that you look, or because you feel like you deserve to be somewhere that you're not. You are someone who's a hard worker, and this is something they greatly admire about you. Wow, we've got so much fire energy. So you could be an Aries or Sagittarius. So we've got Leo energy, Sag, Aries on the bottom over here. We have the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands just means a straight and narrow, right? You're very clever, but there's again this element of being soft here, and like an angel. So you have this feminine energy about you. And again, even if you're a man on here, like you just have this very soft feminine energy about you, which you're willing to go into when it's necessary. It's not like you always reside in that energy, but it's you are willing to go into it. Yeah, and then at other times you're very sharp and cold, and you're willing to cut people off and not put up with anything because you know what's important for you. And with both of them looking down, there's this element of always looking within. Like you very much trust yourself, and that's what men secretly admire about you, how much you trust yourself on your journey. But you're very clever. That's something that's coming through. Whoa, that came out so fast. Thank you. You get some oracles on it. Yeah, you're a nurturing individual. Let's see. Let's get some oracles for pile number one. Source, thank you. Look, this innocence, that childlike fun. And I was going to say that here, but I didn't. But we had childhood innocence coming up here. Yeah, you have an innocence about you. Like, even though you've been through some rough things, like, you're still this very, very soft and delicate individual. Like, but it's not like you're fragile. Okay, there's a difference between delicate and fragile. Like, delicate is this feminine energy. Fragile means, oh my gosh, you're gonna break at the first sign of a breeze or something, you know, like, oh my gosh, you broke, you know. No, like there's this delicacy about you, like fineness, right? Like rarity. That's what it is. And it has to do with your heart chakra too. Like we have a lot of green coming through here. Like you live with your heart on your sleeve, or you live with your heart open to the world. You're not like a what is it? A cut off warrior. Like you're an open warrior. If you're a warrior, you're still willing to be in that feminine energy of love. Let's see what else comes out for you, pile one. Oh, that was fast. Thank you. Yeah, you're on your path of purpose. Okay, we have shark purpose coming out on the bottom over here. So this is telling me you're on your path of purpose, and that's something that men admire. They also admire your creativity. We have creation snake with 43 and 7, but you're, again, the heart, right? Look, this is the heart right here where the tree is growing through the heart. So there's something about your genuinity and your sincerity in life that men really admire, like deeply admire. Libra, consideration, fairness, and harmony. And didn't I say that in the beginning? You bring this like harmony and pleasure into people's lives, and men they really enjoy that. And again, we have the sun and the earth, and so you have this masculine and feminine energies. This could also be the moon, but you just have this balance about you as well that they really admire. Like it puts them at ease when they're in your energy, right? It really puts them at ease. So let's check out and see what your oracle card was. Let me check it first before I show some unnecessary footage to the camera. Okay, yeah, look. Okay, we have I am. Look at this beautiful art. Like, this is just so, this looks like lungs to me. Again, connecting with the heart chakra. Like, their hands are over their heart, like he's doing this over his heart. I think this is like a symbol from some sort of martial arts. Like, what is it? In karate, we used to do that where we would put our hands like this and we would bow. That was way a long time ago, like a whole nother lifetime ago. I was like this tall, okay, when I was like that, okay? But yeah, there's this sense, again, coming back to the heart chakra here. And like being seen from your heart, like, because you may be healing your heart chakra, pile one. And because you're healing your heart chakra, like, it is actually activating so much more outside of you than you could even possibly understand or see or comprehend that's coming back to you, right? You may begin to understand this through people, the way they treat you, but you as a person, the way that you're shining, it has to do with that. Like, men admire the way that you're shining, the glow up that you've had, and how very balanced. Like, you have this line that's coming straight through here, and this feels like very balanced between the masculine and the feminine energies here, right? This feels very balanced. Let's check out and see what this card says in the book. I am is going to be at the front of the eyes. Oh, there's two I ams. Oh, okay. There's I am and I am source. Okay. So, I'm going to read this to you. It says, in this holographic reality, we function like mirrors. I mirror you, you mirror me. I look into my mirror, and that's interesting because we have this right here. I'm just going to put that on top. I look into my mirror. I look at you. I look at myself. I can clearly see myself when I observe you. The outside acts as a mirror for my mind, where I can see different qualities of my own essence, of my most primitive self reflected. I grew up in a fragmented society that made me believe in not being enough, not being valuable, not being capable. I often believe that I have had a broken wing. Isn't that interesting? Then we have the angel over here with the wings. Interesting connection. This aspect of society is also my mirror, a very useful one, which can encourage me to take care of myself in harmful situations. It makes me appreciate life and see it from another perspective. It gives me an opportunity to educate and expand my vision of reality. I now see that not being is an illusion, is a veil based on a mistaken belief system and a projection of inherited fears. I pause and look at you again. I look at myself again. Seeing a spectrum of light and shadow, I assimilate the information received and I weigh it up. When I look at myself through harsh, closed, or authoritative mirrors, I have the opportunity to review my own violence, to set limits, to express myself, and to let go as necessary. I always deserve love. When I connect with sweeter, more loving, and compassionate mirrors, I am filled with peace, connection, to life and to my purpose. And we said purpose was on the bottom of the deck over there. We have Cancer energy on the bottom of the astrology deck. Because our humanity is in essence pure love, and that is one of my most beautiful reflections. I am. The act of observing says more about the observer than what is being observed. I rest in silence. Silence reveals the truth. From the silence, the answer springs. I am able to look beyond the story I've told myself and observe my current situation clearly. Today I grow and heal with love. And I love that that's this card, because we were talking about that. Like, you always looking at yourself, you see that you're the only one that can stand in your way. You're passionate about it. You don't just give your energy away willy-nilly, right? Like being creative, but cutting people off when need be. But you're living from this place of truth and authenticity from your heart. Like, I love that that card just clarified everything that we talked about in the reading. So this is what I see for you, pile number one. If it resonated, make sure you leave a thumbs up down below. But I'm going to go ahead and leave this there. I do just want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your angels, your spirit messengers, source, and my spirit guides for all coming together to give us this message. But until next time, I'm going to get on out of here. Stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this beautiful amethyst shard, or if you were drawn to this card during the draw, this is going to be a reading on what do men secretly admire about you. We are going to check this out afterwards. However, I am going to actually change up how I've been doing things. I'm going to put this over here. Yes, I know you can't see it. Don't worry. That will change once we get to it. I just want to put it out of the way, but keep it in frame so that you know it's there. These are general readings, so take that in mind as we move forward, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it allows me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you're interested in my journey, my experiences, the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and just me being transparent about what it is that I've experienced, make sure you check out the description box down below, where you will find a link to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is on Spotify and also Anchor FM, and you will be able to take that with you and listen to at your leisure. I do upload 3 new episodes each week. So perfect. With that being said, let us go ahead and get into your reading. We will start with the dice as always and find out for pile number 2, source, what do men secretly admire about pile number 2? What can you tell us, source? What do men secretly admire about pile 2? How can we understand this deeper? What messages do you have for us, source? What do men secretly admire about pile number 2? Alright, so we've got 5th house, Aries, and Pluto. And actually, give me just a moment. My camera moved. There we go. That's much better. So let me grab my block and we'll get this set up for you here. We've got 5th house, Aries energy. And we've got Pluto, very fiery energy coming in. We've got Leo and Aries and Scorpio energy at the end here. So you're very fiery. You could be very abrasive. You know, like you've had to learn how to really cut people off or cut situations off at the knees, like or cut it off at the head, right? Like, I'm not going to let it get further than this. But you're also very mysterious and dark and secretive and powerful and intimidating and mysterious keeps coming through here. Mysterious. She's so mysterious. He's so mysterious. Okay, so yes, men, what do they secretly admire about you? That you are someone who they feel like they could romance, or that they feel like you're a romantic, right? At heart. They also feel like you have a lot of hobbies and interests, and you're a very interesting person because of that. You may be like, but I'm not, Becky. Like, I'm not really an interesting person. And really what you don't realize is that all those things that are interesting to you actually make you interesting, and you are very passionate about them, which we see here with Aries next to the 5th house. Like, when you're interested in something, you're interested in it, and you don't see it as like, oh my gosh, am I hurting somebody's feelings, or am I stepping on people's toes, or because it's not what you're doing. You're just very passionate about it. You're not seeing it as like, what are people thinking of me because of that? It's like when you like something and you really dig deep into it to understand the full parameters of that. And men really admire that. Secretly, they admire that. They may ask you questions about it too, just to get to know you a little bit more. And you may be like, well, I just talk about what I like to do, what I love. You should. That's absolutely what you should do, pile 2. It should never be any different from that, right? And so that's something that men secretly admire. You're very expressive. You have a lot of spirit, a lot of joy, a lot of creativity. You're like very flamboyant is the word that I'm hearing here. Like very boisterous, right? Like very open-hearted and beautiful, and just very much in this place of giving your life. It's like giving your life for passion. Like that's what it is. It's like when you go somewhere, like you instill passion in other people because you're so passionate, whether it's about life or just about living, right? Being you and being able to be your most authentic self. And so men secretly admire this. Like they really secretly are like, oh, pile 2. Pile 2 is so cool. Like I love pile 2. I love their energy. You're very direct. You're independent. Sometimes you can be impulsive. You're also competitive, but in a good way, right? Like it's just to kind of keep things rolling. Like sometimes we need a little bit of competition to get us going, right? Otherwise, what would we do, if we didn't have someone to go up against, including ourselves? Oftentimes we would just stay stagnant in life, and you are anything but stagnant, right? You're always on the go. You're very much in this place of being a leader, especially with this Aryan energy. You liken that to the Emperor from the tarot, right? Like that's connected to Aries energy. It's like someone who's willing to take care of a people and not afraid to make those tough decisions that some people really shy away from. You may be into some sports, you may be a boss, you may be a CEO, but you are seen as someone who's very masculine. We have a lot of masculine energy coming out here. You might identify with masculine energy more than feminine energy, which is fine. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's just that energy that you exert more of. And you are seen as someone that many people can follow, and men admire that. It's like you make it look effortless and easy, right? And you've transformed a lot. Like there's something that you've done that you have transformed a lot. You've really evolved since a lot of these men that are admiring you have known you. You've evolved, and intensity is like the word today. You're very intense, very. The trains stop honking here. Sometimes they honk once, and sometimes they do like that long honk. Like imagine that comes through so much. Like even at night, that train comes through so many times, and they go both ways, right? So there's one track, but we'll have a train going this way, so this one's going that way right now, and 20 minutes later we'll have another train, but it's coming this way. It is the craziest thing. It's a little pop in place here. I feel like the only reason I'm mentioning that is because that's exactly like, it's like no one knows which way you're gonna go, but things are definitely popping off when you're around. Definitely popping off. Yeah, you're someone who's willing to go after what you dream about and really dig into your subconscious. Like these men may have seen you grow in a very personal way, like a personal growth, right? Like whether that's becoming your best self, or just letting go of hurts and wounds of the past, or overcoming darkness. It's like you're seen as someone who has unearthed a lot of fears and faced them. And you also are seen with someone who has deep emotions. You don't let those emotions control you. But the thing here is like you let your emotions guide you in life without a sense of control. It's more or less like a navigation system, as well as being able to understand your fears. And when you come up against a fear, like, you're willing to transform that, and that makes you this powerhouse of an individual. And men really secretly admire that, because they may have seen you overcome fears that they themselves could have never even imagined overcoming, you know? And they're like if it's, just say it's like public speaking. Maybe you've overcome the fear of public speaking, and like totally terrified you at one point in time. And then one day you're just like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and try it. I'm just going to get into it. And you were actually really good at it. And it was like, it's always been a part of what you meant to do, you know, and this is just an example. But they saw that, and men are like, whoa, like pile 2 is just so strong. They're so transformative. Like, it's so like that's a lot of inspiration for them, right? So let's get some tarot out on it. And let's see. Yeah, some men really love you. They admire you because they're in love with you, secretly in love with you. You probably already know this. Yeah, they would like to build a home with you. What do men secretly admire about pile number 2, source? What do men secretly admire about pile number 2? You're seen as a boss. Like, that's, most men see you as a boss. Like, you have a position that they themselves would like, but they are secretly admiring you because you're a hard worker. You show up, you do what's necessary. What do men secretly admire about pile number 2, source? What do men secretly admire about pile number 2? Thank you. Okay. I want that one. What do men secretly admire about pile number 2, source? Yeah, you are popular. You have a lot of attention around you, whether that's men and women, it doesn't matter. Like, you have a lot of attention around you. Like, that's what he's saying. Like, facing those fears has given you an opportunity to stand out and really get involved around, you know, the people around you, and really community involvement. There's like a sense of a following, whatever it is, but they see you as someone who's meant to be out in the open and out in public, and they really admire that. What they also admire is that you bring a lot of hope. Like, you have a really positive attitude, which of course with the fiery energy here, yes, you would have a lot of positivity around you. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Jack of Spades. Yeah, they like watch you from afar. Look, they watch because they want to build something with you. You know, and this definitely depicts a happy family. There's like this family on the back of the card here, standing in the sun. Just this like super happy card. This card in my deck actually talks about, though, overcoming a stalemate. Like, really letting go of things. Like, shoring up bad habits, bad, you know, toxic patterns. And so that definitely goes in line with what we were talking about. Like, they secretly want to have a family with you, but it's all because you've done this work. You've gone on this journey of building up yourself and overcoming those things that have really held you back. So this is about men who have been around you for a while, not just men that you meet randomly on the street or whatever. And they could admire these things about you too, but these are men that are coming through that have seen you go through a lot and overcome a lot and become who you are now from what you used to be. It's funny. This came out twice while I was shuffling, so it's funny that it wanted to come back out again. So we have Temperance with the 2 of Hearts. We have the Star with the 7 of Diamonds. And we have the Hanged Man with the 2 of Spades. Yeah. You are seen as someone they could easily fall in love with. That's the thing. Like, you are seen as, and again, it's just, they are really attracted to you because you have this beautiful essence about you. This is Sagittarian energy coming out. So we have Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius all out on the table here. But you're seen as someone who's exciting and adventurous and fun and balanced and caring and kind and compassionate and healing. You know, Temperance is all about healing our past wounds. Next to the Star here, though, it's like healing so much so that you actually impact the world around you, right? With these two together. Not only that, like, you begin to help alter perspectives around you. So whether their perspective has changed just by having you in their life, or whether they've seen you change the perspective of other people's, like you've helped them change their minds about things that maybe were toxic and now they're not toxic anymore. Like you're helping them to feel into this crown chakra energy, right? This is Piscean energy here. This is very mystical and into the nether realms is what I'm hearing here. It's like what's unseen. You're helping others trust what's unseen, and men admire this because maybe you've helped them see and trust what's unseen in their own life. You know, this temperance really makes me think of an earth angel here. And it's like really truly trusting that there are good things out there. It's not all bad. And so men admire that because it's like you always have this positivity about you. And while you're seen as someone that they could absolutely build a family with, they also realize that you're here for a greater purpose. You're here to bring a huge change to the people that you connect with. Like everybody that you connect with, you change their lives. And maybe you don't realize that, but the men that are watching you, especially this Jack of Spades here, this is men that are watching you. Like these are men who pay very close attention, to the acute details of whatever's going on in your life, pile 2. Okay, so like that's what they do. They're really paying attention to you, and because of that, they're noticing the changes that you're leaving in your trail, in your wake. Right? And you're very comfortable in your own skin, and that's something that they admire too, is that you're very comfortable with who you are and what your journey is. And maybe you're like still wondering, what is my purpose? And it's like, the more you keep wondering about it, the more you realize that you're actually walking in it. Like you're actually walking in whatever it was that you were meant to do here on this earth. It's whatever is most natural to you. Right? And I feel like you help inspire others to be stars themselves. You help inspire hope when there is none. You help inspire faith when there is none. Let's get some clarifiers. What do men secretly admire about pile number 2, source? Whoa. Thank you. What do men secretly admire about pile number 2, source? Okay, thank you. Oh, my nose is itching. Okay. That you're a truth seeker. You may be agnostic. You might not be, but you may be agnostic, and you may be learning all about like old things, like ancient wisdom and rituals and languages and things around that. We have the 8 of Cups on the bottom. Yeah, so you have left family dynamics that have really cut you to the core. And maybe you don't even talk about these, but for some reason this is like shining through your soul, that men admire that you're not like repeating old habits, right? You're taking a new approach. And because of that, like they really admire that. It's like, how do I do that? And some may be way too proud to ask, and others might just be asking you direct questions that don't seem related to that in order to help find their own guidance. Right? But they really admire the way that you are with people. Yeah, you're very committed. You're committed to your healing. And look, what was I saying? Like you're meant to help the world, whoever it is that you connect with. Like you're here to give guidance to them. You're here to help them connect. And then we have them here on their knees praying. It's like you're helping them connect with their faith, with their hope, with their understanding of the world, even if there is darkness. Right? It's like, while the Pope conforms to the world, it's like the Pope conforms to this idea that actually helps people to be non-conformist. It's kind of an interesting, what's the word? Paradigm, right? It's an interesting paradigm. Paradox, that's the word. Thank you. If somebody said it out loud, thank you. So we have the Knight of Wands coming through here. Yeah, you're very action-oriented. You're someone who's moving towards what you want. right? And while this is moving towards the past on the spread, let's look at the symbology of this. She's on this pig, which pigs are seen as abundance. There's a lot of things that are seen as abundance, but we think about pigs that are seen as abundance. In some cultures, pigs are seen as unclean, right? And so it doesn't matter what it is. It's like you have this, to me, this looks like a piggy bank. I'm not even going to lie. This looks like a piggy bank. Your money is coming from whatever's most natural to you, and you're headed towards it. Like you may not even realize it. You're just moving and doing you and doing what you feel is right. And because of that, like, you're moving towards what it is that you're meant to be doing in this world. And that is what men admire. It's almost like you have this innocence is bliss, like that, or ignorance is bliss. Like that's what it is. It's almost like you're ignorantly moving towards what you're meant to be doing there's no realization of it, right? Even if you are consciously making actions towards what you want, it's almost like they are seeing you get led by something outside of yourself or something beside yourself, something that's very spiritual and unseen, right? We have the Four of Wands again. We have the Four of Wands over here, right? So again, like, you're letting go of those old habits, right? You're just like running, everything you're doing, you're like running towards it. Very explosive energy. You're very active. You're very on the go all the time, right? And it's very sweet. It's like very sweet what you're headed towards. And you bring that sweetness with you. Like everywhere you go, when you connect with somebody, you're a very kind, sweet hearted person. Like I keep hearing sweetheart. Oh, I see the little sweethearts too. Anyways, yeah, that's like you are someone who's very sweet. And with the bee up here, like you're just like honey. It's something that lasts for a long time. Like if somebody connects with you, it's something that you leave an impression for a very long time. It doesn't just, as soon as you leave, go away. It's like people will maybe stop and daydream about you. And so men secretly admire this because you've left this lasting impression on them. And they're like, whoa, like that. Whoa, pal, too, whoa. I swear, every third blink is slower, man. Let me know if you guys know what that's from. Down in the comments down below. Yeah, look, we have yang energy coming out on the bottom. Like, you don't get more masculine energy than this. Like, we have yang with Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius here. Proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion. Yeah, like, you're just always in this explosive energy. I'm just going to leave this out because that's so symbolic to what we were talking about. So synchronistic. Let's check that out here in a second. Get some oracles out for, look at this, love, compassion. What was I saying? Like, you leave this lasting impression on others because you're so compassionate, you're so loving and kind. But that has to do with how much you love yourself, right? It's not like, oh, you just love the whole world and you're just this loving person. Like, it actually has to do with the fact that you take care of yourself, you love yourself. And because you love yourself, you're able to spread this love freely to others. And that's what men admire. Like, it's like when they connect with you. I feel like a lot of these men, they just try to connect with you each day. Like, whether it's just to say hello or whether it's just to see how your day is going or something. Like, very simple but very short. Just so that they can have that sweetness throughout the day. Right? Like, and then we have 26 on the bottom with ancestors and polar bear. Like, you're healing those ancestral wounds. It's odd that this is what keeps coming through. This is what they admire you for. They admire you for actually healing those ancestral wounds. We said that here. Healing things that felt abrasive and brutal and bitter and awful and like vicious. Malicious, however you want to put it. Like, it's like this energy of healing that. It's like that's what stands out about you. You're healing that. Like, we have truth underneath that with 44 and Jekyll. You're being very authentic to your journey, right? Finding your responsibility, letting go of the secrets that have held you back. Yeah, you're just a very strong person, pile 2, and that's like, it's very admirable who you are, and that's why men secretly admire you. Look, 38. We have moving from fear into prosperity. We have hyena with fear. It's like you're letting go of those beliefs that really held you back, right? The things that really kept you in a place of not feeling good enough and not feeling worthy enough. Like I said, I feel like the men in this pile have known you for some time. And they've seen you move into this place of prosperity, of getting what you want, of gaining what it is that you've desired. Having true abundance come in. 38, we have number 11 coming through, and number 11 is connected to ascension. It's the first of the master numbers, but it is connected to ascension. It's a very spiritual number, right? And so whatever it is that you are looking to do in life, it may actually have to do with some kind of spiritual journey. It may have to do with actually opening up a spiritual business. Let's see what this card is. House 5. I cannot make this stuff up. We have passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity with House 5 coming through twice in your reading. Just this very passionate energy, this very playful energy. Like when men meet you, they have a good time with you, right? So you may be a goofball, you may be silly, you may be fun, you may be whatever it is. But it's so much so that you leave this lasting impression on them, and they secretly admire, because it's they realize that you don't care what other people are thinking about you as long as you're true to yourself. Let's see what your card is. I'm going to check this off camera just to make sure it's not an inappropriate card. Okay, something I need to cover up. Okay, perfect. It's not. So we have infinity coming through here. Look at this art. Just this art is so incredible, right? You have the third eye. We have that intuitive knowing here. It's like you're seeing through multiple layers. You're gaining access to a higher consciousness here. It's like, what was I saying? Ancient wisdom. You may be learning about ancient wisdom. You may be learning about ancient rituals, ancient languages and things. This is what's coming through here. It's no matter how much you gain, it's there's still always something more to climb. This looks like mountains back here, crags. But there's people up here. You're sharing your wisdom with others. You're helping to connect others through certain aspects. There's a pregnant lady here. There's this guy doing yoga. There's a little family right here. This one looks like they're dancing. Is that an eagle or an owl? Well, I saw an eagle at first. I'm going to go with the eagle. So it's just talking about sheer clarity and understanding. Your wits are about you. You understand what's next. Then we have the spiral here. It's moving up, right? You're moving up through the cycles, but you're learning the lessons as you go and not letting them hold you down. Let's see what this card has to say for you. Pile 2. Infinity. The first one started with an I too. That's funny. Infinity. Here we go. I already know this is going to be a good one. Okay, can we see the card? There we go. Once upon a time, a samurai warrior came to a Zen master and asked him to explain the difference between heaven and hell. When the Zen master looked at him, he said, "I will never teach anything to someone as ignorant and as violent as you." The samurai was immediately consumed by rage. He drew his sword and prepared to finalize him. Then the master said, "That is hell." Instantly the samurai understood, and humbled by wisdom, he put away his sword and bowed in gratitude before the Zen master. The master said, "That is heaven." My emotions and my mind dominate me. It caused great confusion, expectations, and projections. They brought an illusionary veil that kept reality out of sight. Suffering stops when I acknowledge the ignorance of my own universe. I open my vision and leave room inside for me for what I didn't want to see. Truth. Attention. The mind and the body are part of the same being and affect each other. When I pay attention to my emotions and thoughts, I regain the sovereignty of my being. I breathe, I observe, and the pace of life slows down. I can now see all things clearly. Yeah, it's you've come into this place of truly understanding who you are. You just know what you want, and you know who you are, and you know how to get there, and it comes from you. It comes from you finding place within yourself to always stay passionate and honest to yourself. And that's what men secretly admire about you. You actually affect them just like this. Like you're showing them the truth of heaven and hell here on the face of this planet. Like you're basically showing them like you can either be your greatest enemy or you can be your greatest friend. And that's something that they greatly admire about you. So this is what I see for your pile 1. My apologies, pile 2. If it resonated with you, hit that thumbs up button down below, but I am going to go ahead and leave that there. I do just want to take a moment to thank your guides, your angels, your spirit messengers, source, and my spirit guides for all coming together to give us this message. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, and until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans that were drawn to pile number 3. If you were drawn to this lapis lazuli, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading. I just want to let you know that these are general readings, so please take what resonates and leave what does not, knowing that that was for someone else, but also keeping in mind that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in taking me on the go, learning more about my own journey, my experiences, the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that work and don't work, please check out the description box down below where you will find a link to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is on Spotify as well as Anchor FM. And I will be posting 3 episodes for you to take with you every week. With that being said, we will go ahead and get into your dice first. I do just want to move this. I'm going to move this out of the way and put it up here. This has worked out pretty well, this whole reading. So I know you can't see it, but we'll check that at the end of the reading and leave it there. So let's go ahead and ask the dice. Source for pile number 3. What do men secretly admire about pile number 3, source? What do men secretly admire about pile number 3? What can you tell us? What do men secretly admire about pile number 3, source? Okay, so we have 9th house, Virgo, and Mars energy. You are very, very spiritual. And you could be religious too, okay? Like, you know, it doesn't always have to be spirituality, but with the 9th house coming through, this very spiritual energy. It's connected with Sagittarius energy, and, you know, oftentimes with Sagittarians, if they have Sagittarius highly aspect in their chart, you will see religious leaders pop up with a lot of Sagittarian in their charts. But yeah, it has to do with occult, like learning other religions, learning about different topics, ancient wisdom, the world, travel. So like you could be well versed, you could have traveled a lot. Men secretly admire this because like you live a life that they wish they could, and somehow you just naturally gravitate towards it, and you're living it and you're being it, and you don't have to like wonder like what's next. Like you just live, you're grounded in it, right? And you're very open about the things that you believe in, and men admire that because you don't shy away from it. You're not like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna let somebody else influence how I believe. You're very much in this stand, like you're in a strength position when you believe what you believe. You could be at long distance from many men. Like you could have a social media presence here. You could have written a book. You could just be constantly on the go, like traveling for work. And so a lot of men see you always on the go, but you're a very diverse person. You could be a lawyer, right? You could be a philosopher. If not, you do have those abilities to see justice, and you do have that ability to really dig deep into some deep wisdom and share that. You could be into the arts as well. You are constantly learning, and men admire this. Like you've never outgrown your learning energy. Like you always appreciate learning, and that's something that you really enjoy. You're very humble and generous and logical. You're very detail oriented and responsible. And men really, really admire that. Like you're not all over the place. You're very steadfast on what it is that you're doing. And even if it takes you a long time to get there, like you're just very methodical in the steps that you're taking to get there. You're very helpful, so they could have come to you for advice, and you've been willing to give them advice, but you see it from a very subjective point of view. Like you're not just giving them your opinion. You're like trying to explain to them, oh, it's this, and this, and you know, you have options, but what do you think is the best option for you? Like you always put it back into their hands to make the decision that best suits them, but you help give them solutions, and that is something that they truly admire. It's like they see you as someone who's curious and rational and willing to help solve greater crises than what other people would be willing to do. You could very well be an environmentalist as well, and that's something that men do admire. Like you're very clean living, like you care about the world, like you care about saving Mother Earth, and that is something that they admire. With Mars here, you can be a little aggressive about some of the things that you believe about, but that just goes to show how passionate you really are about them. It's not like you're trying to make other people believe you or believe what you're believing. It's just, these are the things I believe, and I'm going to share them because I believe in them, and that should be fine. You're also very desirable by everybody, right? And men admire that. They admire that you're so desirable, but you are very wrapped up with yourself right now. Like this kind of feels like very solitude, hermit type energy here, especially with this Virgo next to the 9th house. This gives me very like, you're always in this place of self-reflection, right? Always working on you as a person. And next with Virgo next to Mars, it's kind of like dampening that aggressive energy. It's more like bringing it back to this place of really allowing you to hyper focus on one thing at a time, which Virgos can already do, but it's like almost on you know, hyper speed. Like you're just really focused and you're taking it and you're going towards it. You are very self-assertive and you're courageous. And there's sometimes when you do bring force to what it is that you're doing, but that's because you're a leader and you do command a certain authority about you. And so men do admire that about you, right? They admire that you're a very authoritative person, and they secretly wish that they could be too. So, you know, again, we're looking at what they admire, not if they're jealous or not, not if they're like all that. So yeah, they really admire that. I think the thing that comes down to this right here for you, pile 3, is they admire that you're still a generous person, even though you're a leader. Like, you don't get crazy on your brick, right? Like, you're not telling people what they have to do. You're not making people feel less than just because you're a leader. Like, you're making people feel welcome, and you're an open individual, and you're an all-inclusive being. Like, everybody has a part to play, and you allow everybody to play their part and to come in and be that person that they need to be. So, Source, let's get some tarot out on it, pile 3. Source, what do men secretly admire about pile 3? What do men secretly admire about pile number 3, Source? Yeah, that you're a risk taker. It's almost like you love taking risks, but it's not even seen as, you don't even see them as risks. Like, you just see it as part of the process. That's why. It's like, but you're seen as someone who takes risks. What do men, wow, that was quick. Thank you, Source. What do men secretly admire about pile number 3, Source? What do men secretly admire about pile number 3? Thank you. What do men secretly admire about pile number 3? Wow, that was quick. Yeah. Why do I hear that song? Taking care of business. Was that like an 80s song? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What's going on over here? Okay, yeah, you are somebody who everybody sees as being a good partner in business. Like, that's the partner I want in business. That's who I want to build with. Because you're determined and you're willing to go the extra mile for what's yours. And you know that you have everything at your fingertips to create what it is that you want to create in life. Like, you don't make excuses. You just get it done. And men admire that. Like, that no BS kind of energy. Right? You're going out there and you're doing what you need to do. You're not lazy about it. Let's see what's coming out here. Interesting energy. What do men admire about you? Okay, I see. So what, look at this 7, 8, 9 we have all right here. That's crazy. Okay, so what they admire about you is that the things that normally would keep them in a very stressful situation, in a very upset situation, like where they would not be able to perform the way that you perform, you overcome with ease. You overcome with grace. A butterfly just came over by the window. And like, you're seen as somebody who has, like, you're, okay, hold on, let me back up. Okay. You're seen as very human to men, okay? Why? Because you're very easy to relate with. You have a side of you that you've shared with others that may not be accepted by society, right? And what I'm saying about that is, like, you have accepted your flaws, and you haven't let them be a burden to you or a secret that, like, oh, I can't share that. Those are my burden. Like, those are my flaws. Like, I can't share that. But it also makes you even that much brighter. And you've spiritually evolved because of this, right? Like, you're constantly evolving. But there's something about the way that you take care of yourself and your home and your business, the things that you build, like, you're constantly putting attention towards them. And because of that, like, it's like you're seen as someone who fights off anxiety, who fights off control, who fights off worrisome energy. And so men admire that because, like, you're always coming in through this place as being very even kill in your energy. Like, you're very just calm, like, very, very, it's not even calm and collected. Like, this is just a very calm presence that you bring. Even though sometimes you do have to be very forward, abrasive, and kind of aggressive to get what you want. Like, you're always putting your attention where you know it's going to reward you. And that's what they admire about you, because you're not just doing things willy-nilly, right? You're not doing things, like, if it has a red flag, you cut it off. Like, if it shows that it's not going to give back to you, like, you cut it off. It's you very much focus on the things that pour back into you or that reward you for the effort that you've put in. Let's get some clarifiers out on it. Let's give this a souffle. Can we have a souffle, please? Yeah, you're seen as someone who's secretive too. Who has, like, the dark side. I keep hearing that. It's like this dark side. It's like because of your darkness, like, they feel like they can relate to you even more. Maybe, like, why would anybody feel like they could relate to my darkness? It's like because they don't feel like they have to hide who they are in your presence. Like, it's like, oh, pile 3, like, gets it. Pile 3 gets what it is to be human. Like, pile 3 understands what it is to struggle, and pile 3 understands what it is to have really bad moments and to make really bad decisions and to really, you know, have a lot not going for you. Like, you've been there and they've seen that, or they've heard you talk about it. And it's like, the way that you talk about it, though, you make it seem like if I didn't have these experiences, I wouldn't be where I am. And that's exactly what they admire, because, like, that's what makes you so relatable. It's like, it gives them hope that they too can overcome, you know, that type of energy. And it brings them into a place of balance, right? And helping them end certain cycles in their own life. May you please have some clarifying cards for pile number 3. Oh, the Lover coming out. Yeah, and that you don't always need everyone else to help you in life. Like, you don't always need a whole group of people around you, or you don't need a lover, you don't need a partner, you don't need any of that, even though they see you as potential partner material. Absolutely. But this is more or less like you're abundant on your own. That hermit energy coming through once again, even though this is a lover, it's like you've made a decision. You made a decision to grow in this place of being free to be who you are, when so many other people would be so concerned about where you're at. Like, why don't I have this, or why don't I have that, or I don't have this, or I'd have given up a long time ago because I just can't put in the effort that pile 3 is putting in, right? And so with number 6, again, we have that sense of balance coming through once again. You know, the lover card really talks about how Hercules had a decision to make between lust and glory, or to go towards virtue, and it was his choice to do so. Like, he had the free will to go there, and so it's like you chose to go towards virtue and what was true to you, rather than embarking on it for glory. And maybe you embarked on it at first for glory, but it taught you some very valuable lessons, and you maybe have shared that with others, and that's why they admire you so much, because it's like where someone else would have just done it for fame and glory and money and this, that, and the other, the minute that they didn't get that, like, they would have stopped. And you never stopped because it taught you some valuable lessons. We have the Ace of Wands coming out here. Yeah, this is like so passionate. Like, when we say passionate, you have a drive that is unmatched, right? Exactly here with the 8 of Clubs, is talking about this energy of pouring into that which gives back to you. Like, you're willing to be raw with the things that really give back to you, but they have to be giving something back. Like, you have to see some sort of reward, and that's not necessarily monetary. It could just be like, does this make me feel good? Does this feel like I should be doing this? Like, whatever it is, it's like it has to be giving back to you, and then you'll be raw and open with it. And that's what men admire about you. They admire that you pour in wholeheartedly to the things that are meant for you. Can you please have some clarifying cards for pile number 3? Thank you. Yeah. There's all this energy of being scared. So maybe you were scared at one point, and like you talk about that, like how you had this fear. You know, the 8 of Swords talks about control when it's in the upright, and when it's in the reverse, it talks about fear in my deck. Like, that's a very basic energy. Even the 8 of Wands is very closely related to that. The 8 of Wands in the upright talks about gaining control over another person. And in the reverse, it talks about being ruled by your fears and anxieties. So they're very similar. There's just a little bit of a difference there. Like, one is just straight fear. One is being controlled by fear, right? And so it's like the thing that you have here with the 8 of Swords coming out, it's like you've had to deal with trying to control your life in a way that made you feel like you belonged, but at one point you felt really small. And we have 8 and 8 coming out, like your karmic energy here coming through, right? And like we have the 8 of Wands. Technically, this is the 8 of Wands. It's like this is what you've overcome, is that cycle of feeling like you didn't belong and feeling like you didn't hold a say in this world. And instead you focused on something that makes you feel good, and it gives you that sense of purpose. And that's what makes you so relatable, because so many people feel that way. And either you've talked about it, or they've seen you overcome this energy, this fearful energy. And you've ended these cycles. And because of that, like, they just really admire that they're able to connect with you and be like, I wish I were like pile 3. Like, pile 3 gives me a roadmap on how to overcome these hurts and these pains that I've experienced in my life, knowing that there are better ways if I focus on myself, right? Yeah, we have the 2 of Swords here. You're always like leaving things behind that aren't serving you, like you've outgrown them and you're on the path to a positive outcome. Like you're literally on this path that's really serving you, but it's not without its fears, right? It's not without its hardships. It's not without its potential upsets and failures. It's just, you know, you have to keep going and keep trying and keep doing what's best for you, right? So you follow your intuition with the Popess here. This is like being able to shut out the world and listen to yourself. And that's exactly what we see with these cards here. It's like very self, it's all about self. Even the Lover is all about self. And learning how to create abundance for yourself. Not quick fame, not get rich quick. Like, you're not like that. Like, and maybe a lot of people in your energy are like that, or a lot of people around you are like that, and you're not. And so men admire that you're actually willing to put in the effort. It's like effort ensues rewards, and that's what you do. You like go after your rewards, but only after knowing that you've put in the effort to gain them. This one wanted to pop out. What do we have? Venus. Give and receive love, find value, and see beauty. Yeah, so you're seen as a very beautiful person. Yeah, you're seen as an extremely beautiful person. Inside and out. And men admire that. Like, you are someone who they can be very attracted to, but they could also have a really good friendship with. Yeah, things that would normally blow people up, like cause a lot of maliciousness, cause a lot of volatility, if I can say the word here. We have volcano volatility, right? It's a very volatile situation. It's like this is source coming in and creating quote unquote tower moments. Did you guys hear that? That was like a squirrel throwing something at the side of the, oh my gosh, squirrels here, they're trippy. But there's this energy of really creating a lot of anger. And it's like you've moved on from this anger. You've let this become the teacher in your life, instead of allowing you to be sour and heartless and, just a rude person. We have Whale with Breach. Again, with that traveling aspect, this absolutely goes hand in hand with that. This talks about getting out of your zip code for a little while, right? This talks about leaving your work. This is more than just a 15-minute coffee break. This is literally getting out of work, getting away from things. And so you definitely take time away for yourself. You may travel regularly, right? Whether it's vacation or for work, it's like you just travel regularly, and that's seen as something to be admired because you're constantly leaving your element, like what you know as to be your element, or what they know to be your element. Okay, let's see. I wanted one more. Oh, didn't know where I put them at. All right, this one. Thank you. Transformation at the bottom with Sea Otter, number 18-9. Yeah, so you're bringing things to a close in your life, and you're transforming. You've become something different. What's peeking out here? Fierceness, Wolverine, number 5. Yeah, you're definitely very aggressive when you need to be. Full of fire when you need to be, right? But at the same time, you're also very calm and collected. And it's like both of those energies together makes you very magnetic. Look, I can't make this up. We have Sagittarius energy here. Optimism, exploration, and freedom with 9th house. 9th house and Sagittarius are connected. So you have this energy of being the life of the party, of showing up and really exploring and being a truth seeker and connecting with ancient wisdom. And, that travel energy is coming through with Sagittarius, right? On the move. When you let go, when you release the arrow, it flies. And that's like on the move type energy here. You're always doing something new. You're always experiencing something outside of the normal everyday life, and you're willing to pour into that because it makes you feel good. And then we have number 41 here with companionship, dog. Yeah, so you're seen as somebody who's very, very loyal, trustworthy, that make a good friend. Like you would make a really good friend, right? I don't know why I was picking up this 3 of coins here. I feel like that's a thing. It's like, that's the thing. If they built a business with you, if they built anything with you, they knew that they could trust you. Like, that's why they admire you so much. Men know that they can trust you. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle card here. I'm going to check this off a camera just to make sure it's not anything inappropriate. And then if it is, I will cover it up. But then we'll read this out of the book and find out what it is. Oh, okay, cool. Like we have this like jaguar right here. in the face of the human. This makes me feel like journeying, you know, when you journey and you connect with your spirit animal and they give you guidance, if you've ever done that. But it's like, even if you haven't done that, like, you may connect with animals out in nature and they give you guidance without even realizing it, and you start doing something, you're like, why did I start doing that? It's like because it made so much sense to you. This is cool for a shade. It just feels very much like you're in this place of like, that's yeah, cool for a shade. Like, that's what I was saying, like, you're calm, but that's a good way to put it. Like, you're the shade, like you're the tree. It's like when people come into your energy, it's like they can take a reprieve from the hot sun, from the heat of society, right? I love that. That is such a good, thank you, source. Thank you. I was like, kept trying to figure it out and I couldn't figure it out, but that makes so much sense. This cool for a shade, like you're like the reprieve from the heat of society, and you bring a new sense of connection to the world, a new sense of being. Like, it's okay to be who you are, right? It's okay to be loyal, because loyalty is something that's respected, that should be honored in life. It's okay to be an adventurer because we only have one life to live. It's okay to leave things behind that we would normally put everything into but never get anything in return, because we're trying to experience life, right? And so men admire you because you're just different. You're different than every other person that they've met, and you live in the way of really focusing on your dreams and listening to your intuitive knowings. Let's read this out of the book. Let me grab the book real quick. Cool for shade. Okay. You see that? Okay. I have already realized that the perfect time to do things does not exist. Fear of making a mistake is to die slowly, is to live halfway, as if in an eternal rehearsal. In the face of external orders that humiliate my conscience, I am disobedient. I take indifference in my hands and look at it closely. I observe that it is made of cowardice, and in an act of love, I offer it to the fire. And we have so much fire on your reading. Daring to build or dismantle in order to grow means losing one's balance. On the balancing on the tightrope over here, right? So with courage, I go out to find myself, because if I don't, I invite the danger of getting lost. Fear is always ready to show me things in their worst light. The world belongs to those who dare. We have dare. Life is an adventure. Fortune favors the brave. Today I embrace the art of the decisive. Yeah, so you're just very, very much this adventurer, right? And that's what they admire about you. You may not even go on a lot of trips, but you just have this sense of adventure about you, and that's something that men really truly admire. And the fact that you act on that sense of adventure, it's just like a cool breath of fresh air. Like, it's something that the world needs, and they really, really, really admire this about you, okay? So this is what I have for you, Pile 3. If it resonated, hit that thumbs up button down below. I am going to go ahead and leave this there. I do just want to take a moment to thank your guides, your angels, your spirit messengers, source, and my spirit guides for all coming together to give us this message. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. And until next time, stay human. Bye.